As long as I remember, Syria is a beautiful place. It's a very charming place full of history. I still remember the people there. You can see the life in their faces. Fridays were the best days for me, where I can go out with my friends, have a Syrian breakfast, and then off we go to discover the city of Damascus. Syria is a paradise, and I say this because nothing, and I mean nothing, can change this. Unfortunately, the war has destructed so many good things in Syria. When the Arab Spring has started in Tunis and then escalated to Egypt, we were watching with caution. We were like, my God, is this going to reach to Syria? And then the very first call for a free Syria was actually on February 15th, despite you thinking it actually started on March 15th. But nobody responded to that call. However, 1 month later, it broke down. And it resulted in 11 million leaving the country for a neighboring country like Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan. So many of them has chosen a higher road, one of the most dangerous routes to get to their destination, Europe. However, I chose a better way. I chose a ticket, an economy class ticket, to get to Brazil. So, here I am in Brazil, and being called a refugee. I didn't like to be called refugee. It's like people would say, well, you know, Jesus was called a refugee. And I'm like, well, I'm sure I didn't like it. I mean, think about it. Would you like to be called a refugee? Would you like to leave your home and have no idea if you're coming back or not? Would you like to have the need for basic stuffs that you had, but you no longer do? It's so indignant to be called like that. It's not my identity. It's nobody's identity. So I came here to Brazil, and the first thing that I need to learn is a language that I never heard of before. Brazilian, Portuguese, right? And I'm like, what language is this? It's like a pure drink of what language is this? The second year was like a cocktail of what language is this? And what the hell am I supposed to do with my life? I was so angered, I was so frustrated because there was nothing I can do. I had to wait so I can learn the language. And then when I first had the first idea, it was like an epiphany. It was like actual a light bulb has came to my brain and clicked. It was the idea of e-commerce, to sell stuff over the internet. I mean, yeah, it's not a great idea, but it was able to help me. And not only that, I was thinking, this should help others too. So the idea was to create mini stocks all over Brazil of Arabic ingredients where they can actually sell it and can live out of it. But then this was aborted in 2 months. It wasn't good enough. And then we were presented with the idea of going to Health Prize, to participate in Health Prize. When I started doing the application of Health Prize, I was like, can we make it actually to Boston? We actually made it over 50,000 other startups that actually applied to Health Prize. And we got the team there to Boston. I wasn't able to go because I hold a Syrian passport, but my team went there and was able to present the idea. Of course, we couldn't make it, and they came back, but I had this will to continue doing the work. The idea was amazing. I mean, it was a marketplace where can connect refugees and clients. It's an idea that is full of technology. It's full of innovation. It's a startup. And I wasn't really sad about the first idea anymore because it was like losing a boyfriend for a better one. So here we go, and we had to work with this. So I moved to São Paulo, where I wasn't living in São Paulo at first. I moved to São Paulo, And we pulled up the very first MVP as an event in 40 days. And then I entered into the process of Bluefield Accelerator in São Paulo. It was really hard to crack. It was a really rigid selection process. And then when I got in, I started doing some research, talking to people. And then I realized, for this application to work, it needs a really high number of stakeholders, of users that sells the stuff and services, and a really high number of recurrent buyers. But we weren't able to find that in our research. So we had to stop a little bit and take a step back. So I started to work with 4 chefs. I was like, okay, let's work with these 4 chefs and try to find a business model for them. We used methodology of Steve Lang's, Canvas, and what I realized that, okay, they make really good food. It was an amazing food, but that's all they care about. What they needed is somebody to co-entrepreneur with them. And not only that, they needed a structure for that. They needed a place to cook, to make the food. So I went and I rented a place for 2 days, a kitchen for 2 days, and I was like, okay, let's see how we're gonna do that. And then I made an event, I called out people, and people loved it. So I came back after the holidays, and there was born Open Taste. So each Friday, we invited a chef from a different part of the world. Some of them from Africa, from Venezuela, from Syria, and then they made their amazing food. At the first 3 months, we faced numerous challenges. We weren't able to bring people in, but we were thinking, it's just an event. But it wasn't just an event. We're using disposable food, disposable plates and stuff. It's like, okay, just fast food or food truck, but it's not like that. Open Taste has told the story of each plate and each person behind the plate. It told a story for them. It told their roots to the people. When we realized that, when we put that in our mentality, boom, it changed the course of Open Taste. Today, Open Taste is in the process of opening its doors to the public. Today, Open Taste is an immersion program where there's a lot of experience and agile training and a job opportunity for those who want to work with us. Today, Open Taste tells the story of people, of their history, of their roots. And just like how I tell my story here at TEDx, it will tell the story of many. So Open Taste worked with 12 to 13 chefs, and almost every one of them worked 2 to 3 times and benefited around 500 real on a good selling days. And then I thought, okay, that's good enough. But then I started talking to people, talking to chefs. And there was a conversation that went like this: Joanna, you have no idea. We're sick of cooking at home. We're sick of running out for events. We're sick of looking for clients. We don't have life anymore. Our life has become the kitchen. We don't have a time for our family. And each time I talk to the families, each time I talk to the chefs, I got this sense, this really hard sense of responsibility that made me go out frustrated, but it resulted in ideas. So Open Taste has formed the way it is, talking to clients and to chefs. When you think of that, the impact that Open Taste has done, it's both-sided. It's at any level or size, social impact is both-sided. And it starts internally. It started in me, and that's what I can tell you. Usually we think that social impact starts where you actually want to impact. So if you want to work with refugees, you impact refugees. You want to work with women, you impact women. When you want to work with children, you impact children. But that's not true. Social impact is a continuous process of work, but it starts in you. And then it starts impacting the people you work with, the suppliers, the partners, the people that are observing you, and then it starts impacting those who want to impact. As a result, it impacts the economy. So think about social impact as a continuous process of work. So as Open Taste has impacted me and has changed me and made me think outside the box, I know that we worked for 1 year and it's not enough. I want to see more impact in these people. I want to see more change. I want to see goals and dreams realized. So off I go to see the impact in these families. Thank you.